Welcome to the Afterthoughts podcast. Immediately you're jarred, wondering, this looks different. The set looks different. Why is he holding his microphone? Why is he sitting next to Doug? He always
My
doesn't sit
microphone
next
comes
to Doug.
down from the ceiling.
And that's because
Let's go.
This is for the first time in the history of this podcast. We have 5 people on set. The Fab Five, as we've been known around Austin for the past 24 hours. Today we are joined by James and, more importantly, Brit Powell. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, we're happy to have you. James is returning for his second time.
Yes.
How does that feel now that you know a little bit about?
I'm a vet. Yeah.
You feel good?
I know exactly where we're going.
And absolutely.
I'm missing the hammer, but yeah.
We'll find it.
Okay.
Dude, James knows all about questions with Kayla.
He loves to.
He gets all of this.
He's
so
right.
ready.
But Britt, I know you've probably binged all the episodes of the podcast. Yeah. What does it feel like to be actually on the set of the actual Afterthoughts podcast?
Well, my knees are weak, my arms are heavy, my palms are sweaty. Just kidding.
Let's go.
Super
Can you walk
stoked
us through your top 30 favorite Afterthoughts moments?
Yes.
30 is such
Starting
an
with
aggressive
the
number.
one time that
when-
Doug made fun of Ryan, and
Yep.
then Ryan made fun of Ethan.
Good.
And
That was
Everybody's
good. I
been talking
remember
about
that.
that.
Yeah, I didn't like when they
love
made
that.
fun of me though. That was hurtful.
Oh, because you're insecure.
Like that one guy yesterday who
Oh,
was
I'm
like,
pushing the table. Sorry.
he's like, I'm not sure who's funnier, Doug or Ryan. You remember that?
Oh yeah, he's like, I thought I
Yeah.
thought Doug was the funniest.
Yeah.
Or maybe Ryan, but it's you, James.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there like, hey, I'm
Right
what's
in
up,
front
man?
of
Didn't even make the conversation.
Literally the highlight
Dude,
of my
just don't
entire
care.
life.
Ethan just got left off the ballot.
But
Dude, not even-
but
not
you
even-
did remember
not
your
even
wife's
mentioned.
birthday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that
But
was
how
right.
many times has that happened in a lobby where like two of us are standing next to each other
Yeah,
and
yeah.
one person comes up and goes, Ethan, you're my favorite of the three.
Oh yeah,
Just so
dude.
you know.
And you just, hey, I'm
They're like,
Doug.
wait, they told me that last week.
And look at me like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
This guy over here.
Isn't he the best?
Yeah.
Why do I
Yeah.
do this? I don't know.
I quit.
We did a whole Afterthoughts episode about not needing to compare us
Yeah.
and why people do that, but nobody listened to it.
No, for about 3 weeks there would be these awkward conversations where they'd come up and be like, "You're so much better," and then they'd like pull back.
Yeah.
But now it's just the floodgates are back open.
Yeah, that's
they
fine.
just compare us.
That's fine.
Have we ever talked about chocolate covered turds?
Well, excuse me?
Yeah.
Say more, James.
We always talk about that.
You mean on the podcast or just at
Just
lunch?
compliments in general, where it's like, man, you've gotten so much better.
It's
at
always the
speaking.
progression,
It's like, wait
dude.
a minute, like what?
Yeah.
Dude, since the
Yeah,
last time
you
I heard
Yes.
you speak, I had no
You've
idea
really
you
grown.
hated my last sermon.
It is? Okay. That was the FCC. We don't have to bleep out
Okay.
turds. We're fine. We're good. We're good. Britt.
That's the same concept. I remember like a few years ago when John Trowbridge.
We'll get to actually talking, Britt.
John
at some point.
Trowbridge from
Shout out.
Denver.
Yeah.
John, we love you. But I remember one day it
We're in a
was like
small group together.
It was in yeah.
Yeah, you should be.
John watches every single one of these episodes.
loves them.
But this was like
he
a
knows how to
staff.
get to YouTube.
This was an all staff, and just in front of everybody, he said, "Doug, are you sick? Are you feeling okay today?" I was like, "Yeah, I feel great." He's like, "Oh, you look sick." I'm like, "Actually, I've never felt better in my entire life." So
Thanks, man.
I guess this is
Thanks,
how I
John.
look
Like, I'm
when
fine,
I'm
but I'm
healthy.
still
So thank you.
This is actually me after
Yeah.
10 hours of sleep.
We actually, speaking of sickness and Doug, having issues.
What?
We do need to do a quick sideline report to report on Doug's injury. As you'll notice, Doug is wearing a
okay,
wrist
yeah,
brace.
yeah.
Doug's playing
Doug's
injured
playing
today.
hurt today.
It's hard
And,
to
What
even
a
be on this
warrior.
podcast right now.
Thank you for
I should
being
be icing my wrist.
Thank you for being a warrior to be on here
Yeah,
with us
man.
today.
You're welcome.
And I know sometimes you'll have to hold your mic with your left hand.
Yeah.
And we just we just continue to
Well, because
pray.
he's been stacking
fine.
the ankle weights on the microphone, really
Right.
trying to.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So with all that said, Britt, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
Give a little bio. We'd love to get to know you.
Perfect. Brittany Powell, born and raised Lafayette, Louisiana.
Nice.
So a little Cajun. I can turn it on. I can turn it off.
Okay.
For the
Okay,
Cajuners
prove it.
listening.
Yep, prove it.
We having a good time on this little podcast.
Okay.
For those of you that need an interpretation, I'm sorry, just makes no sense.
Great.
But yeah, been married to James almost 15 years, 14 years.
The best 14 years of your life.
It has been. It has been. 2 kids, love them. 2 dogs, love 1.
Yes.
And
Okay.
recently, yeah. And that's pretty much. I oversee Next Gen at Red Rocks, and
Yes,
so I
you
get
do.
to hang out with all of the kids through young adults. Basically, everybody that gives you gray hair. It's perfect.
What's the coolest app for a young person to have on their phone?
Angry Birds?
You know, I was actually talking to Will, and I'm gonna go with Will's perspective. keeping it very good is Angry Birds.
Angry Birds is fun.
Best app to get frustrations
It
out
is
and
so
then win
fun.
and achieve.
Really fun.
Trick question. They
Yeah.
shouldn't have a device.
We played Angry
Exactly.
Birds at Topgolf
Nice.
last week.
Oh, James.
was
Good
great.
work.
Yeah.
Will was playing that on the plane last week, and then I gave it to Kinsley. I was like, "You want to play?" She goes, "No, it's too hard."
So you just,
Oh, I know, man.
Meanwhile, when Will was playing it, he had strategy, and I was watching him, and I was like, "This is impressive."
Will is very good.
Yes.
Very good. What? How old were you guys when you got married?
23 and 24.
Yep.
Yeah.
You mean 23 and 34?
20. Well, James, he was actually 54.
Yeah. Really.
You waited a couple decades
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
If you've
yeah,
only been married
well-
for 14 years, so you were what, 45 when you got
Well,
married?
actually,
Yeah.
He's way older than Doug.
He's the modern day Abraham.
golly.
Right?
Do you have any advice for the next decade of my life, James? What should I do?
Well, I'm excited to start this new 55 Alive.
What, James, tell us. I know there's stories after story, but what was the most poignant moment of World War II for you?
Yes. You know, it was powerful. I've
Yes.
always been.
It's a wild time, I bet.
It was crazy in the 1900s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You were there.
Your
You
call
could-
back to the 1900s for the love languages.
That was
weekend
good.
Was
Oh.
so good.
Yep.
Gary Chapman,
Dude, Gary
Dr. Chapman,
Gary.
a 1900s author.
Bro.
A
Is he
legend.
still alive?
I'm sure he is.
Well,
I think he
well,
is. I'm actually
We were
sure.
all from the
I don't know.
1900s.
He has to
Yes.
Google it. I'm sure he is.
It would be sad if we Google it right now. He's not. R.I.P.
All right,
Gary, good
What a
guy.
legend.
A legend.
Good Gary.
Good Gary.
One of the
Chapman.
there's a lot of cool things that happen on this podcast, obviously, but everyone's favorite bit is known as Questions with Kayla.
Questions with Kayla.
So here's Kayla
Questions with
wearing
Kayla.
a University of Colorado hat.
I am right now.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
That means
Thank
a
you for
lot.
the
That
support.
means a lot.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
Go Buffs.
Yeah,
go Buffs.
Because you guys
Let's
are in
go.
town from Colorado.
Yes.
Yes.
I like it.
Dude, thank you.
In honor of-
In honor of Prime.
Is
Prime time.
Chad Ochocinco actually going there as a coach?
There's no he might have gone somewhere else.
he'll be hanging out.
There's been rumors of Warren Sapp,
Okay.
but then apparently the university, because of his background, doesn't want to hire him, and I'm like, I think we're past that point.
I just saw.
I think we're just trying to win and have fun.
They were trying to decide if he's gonna be Coach Ocinco though. I think he's really thinking about being a coach or recruiter.
Sure.
I don't
Bringing
know.
great. Kayla,
Was that
I
a
mean,
question?
Boulder is known for its high morality.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, we really helped with that
yeah,
cause
sure.
for 4 years.
ask away.
Okay, here we go. First question. Powells, you guys have moved a lot in your life. So this is for everybody, though. But where is the best place you guys have lived, and why?
Wow.
Start with the worst. Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, I was like
okay,
Alabama
yeah.
or Springfield. Which one are we saying?
Oh, ouch. Okay. Didn't know till just now that you felt that way.
That's where you're from.
Communication, yeah.
Terrible place from what Brit said.
Apparently, just the products they export, like me.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your favorite?
Well, it's a toss-up because I really love Denver a lot, but we lived in NorCal, and I really like NorCal. But I would have to say probably Denver is like, we're only 7 months in, so it's slowly creeping up there. The difference is I just had a swimming pool in Northern California. In Colorado, we have an ice plunge, so a little bit different.
Well,
but
it's just not really ice plunge. It's just a tarp.
It's just winter
It
outside.
collects outside.
It gets cold.
It does.
But California, it's hard to beat California.
yeah, well, because we live like 45 minutes from...
OC fan?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best
Yeah.
season of the OC.
There's 4.
Oh.
One.
Season, I was gonna say season one.
It's
like
gotta
this
be season
story.
one.
Yeah.
I kind of like the finale one, though.
Wow.
It was
Finale
like
was-
a closure.
The last episode was good.
Yeah, don't they move?
They
They
ended
moved-
it well. They go
spoiler.
back to Berkeley.
They go back to Berkeley. That's right.
Seth Cohen.
But guys, don't
Sandy
spoil
Cohen.
it. I'm at the end of season 2, and Ryan and Marissa are doing great. Dude, Marissa's got so much promise for her life, and so I can't wait to see where it goes.
Ryan's brother's hanging out with them. Everyone's getting along great.
Yeah, everything's good, man.
What you
Didn't that
say?
also turn into another show called North Shore?
I never saw it.
Well, if it did, we need to know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's possible.
It's certainly possible, but did it happen? I don't think so.
Let's just end the podcast here and go watch it.
Yeah.
Or just play an episode. Jacob, just play an episode of North Shore.
North Shore.
Okay, where's the best place you've lived, Ryan?
I love Austin, Texas, but also Seal Beach, California, is just it's a really kind of hidden gem of a beach town, and I love it dearly.
Yeah. We got to live in Laguna Beach, California. So
Laguna's
like
great.
a block or two from the beach.
We're not topping that.
Can't really beat that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, speak for both of us.
James didn't share his favorite
No,
place
you
to
can.
live.
No, he's just addicted to his phone.
Does it? All right. Next,
Can't stop
next
scrolling.
question while James does important research.
I was trying. I can't find
not a
it.
thing.
No, I don't think it was.
Gotta
Maybe
check
it's
the
Maybe
Gram.
maybe that's supposed to happen.
Maybe that's
Maybe
it.
we contact
I'll write
Hey.
it. Let's write it.
Because the dad, like, he was a super cool guy.
Yeah, Sandy.
Sandy Cohen.
Oh, Sandy.
Yeah,
Sandy was
come
awesome.
on.
Yes.
lawyer, man of God.
Goodness.
Not really, but
Yeah.
okay. Next question.
All right. So, Brit, you love your puppies so
Yes.
much. You love them so much. Well, if you couldn't have them, and you could have any wild animal in the
Oh,
world, that's tame, you know.
Oh,
good
yeah.
animal.
a wild animal that would be a cool. Like it's cool with
Yeah.
you. Wouldn't
Cool
kill
pet.
you.
Yeah,
Oh,
wouldn't kill you.
Wouldn't kill you. Okay.
Yeah, what would you have?
Yeah, you're.
Wow.
That's a good question.
Automatically, I want to say a liger, but that's not even a rule. Just thinking of like
That could happen. That could definitely
Napoleon
happen.
Napoleon
Yeah,
Dynamite.
I
I just
mean,
let our
with
boys
AI,
watch that. Not
with,
your
with
first.
AI, that is possible.
yeah.
I would have to do maybe like a leopard. That'd be kind of fun. They're cool looking.
Very
Yeah. It would like aesthetically go with our house.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. But I'm not a cat person for everybody on the podcast, but I don't really want a wolf in my house because they shed.
Yeah.
So-
That would be intense.
Practical thinking.
That is.
A tame animal that grooms itself. And you would choose a wolf?
No. A
Oh,
leopard.
Okay.
leopard.
I would choose a rhino.
Yeah.
How are we putting that
You
in
have
the
to
house?
you have to
That's
feed
not
him and clean up
practical.
after him though.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stick with it, James.
Like,
Good answer.
could you imagine the holes in the wall from a rhino?
You're just walking your
It's
rhino
tame.
around the neighborhood.
Dude, yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Our
Yeah.
puppies are tame
I
and
would
they still
just
chew
ride
things.
him everywhere, bro.
That'd be awesome.
He's sick. Like, what's up?
Hey, sorry.
I'm just taking the
don't mind
rhino
me
to
and my
King
rhino.
Supers.
Just leave him in a parking
It's
spot.
your
Bro, yes.
Okay.
I
little
still,
vest
I'm
for
sticking
it?
with the rhino.
Stick with it.
Dude, I'm going some sort of vicious fish, like a piranha.
Oh.
Because we're safe from it as long as we don't put our hand in the
Well, it's
water.
tame.
It's tame.
It's tame.
It's tame,
It
but
does not harm.
let it eat. You know, let it attack something and watch it. Be kind of fun.
Let it eat.
Piranha.
Oh.
Okay, that's
You
great.
want to watch something die. That's
That's
interesting.
it, man.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
Whoa, that's heavy. I'm gonna go dolphin because that means I have a big enough body of water. That's part of my property that
yeah,
a
yeah.
dolphin can.
Congrats on your new
Smart
house,
thinking.
I have a
man.
conservatory.
Thank you.
I have a
Thank you.
reserve. Come on.
And dolphins are very cool.
Dolphins are great.
Yeah, man, they're awesome.
Very cool.
Man, I would say like a killer whale, so I have an even larger body of water. Or a lion.
Oh.
Yeah,
Come on.
a lion.
Yeah, so you got two answers there, but she just
Simba
asked for
or
one.
Nala?
All right, Kayla, next question.
Simba.
Simba, yeah.
I
Yeah.
have two
Simba.
more. I've asked the guys this before, but we can re-answer. If you could go back in time to a part of the Bible, where would you go to be a fly on the wall?
Oof.
Oh.
And the resurrection, we said that's the obvious, but we're not. That you can't say that. Everyone gets that.
I'd take it back to the beginning, and I would have.
She got
not
it. She
let her
nailed
eat
it.
The dadgum apple.
That's the right
If there were
answer.
a cage in there, they'd have ate the snake instead of the apple, and we wouldn't be able to
There it is.
Yes.
Yeah, Brit.
So Eve was not my people.
Yes.
Brit
so
wins
good,
the
Brit.
podcast.
Yep.
Congratulations, Britt.
Good one.
Oh.
You even want to go?
I don't think so.
Next
Why?
question.
Just change the course of history.
It's kind of over.
Yeah, that was it. That was the answer.
That's so good.
Good. What is the best relational advice you've ever been given? Whether it's for friendships, work, or like intimate.
Wow.
I think I don't remember if it was like really clear advice, but one time I had a pastor. I was in the middle of conflict with someone, and I was like, "Dude, my care button's just broken." He's like, "Oh, you actually don't get to do that." And you know what I mean?
Good. Yeah.
Like I was like, "Oh no, my care button's broken with them. Like I don't really want to talk about it. I'm done." He's like,
Yeah.
"No, you actually don't. That's not an option."
Yep. That's not how this works.
I was like, "Wait, no, it should be. Like I should be able to just go. I don't care." He's like, "No, you actually don't get to choose that." So
that's good.
I don't know. Yeah, I think
Great, man.
staying in a place of like vulnerability and authenticity with people and knowing that's not an option to not. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I was going back and forth on two different ones, but I'm going to go with the Beamer one. We had a mentor in our life, and it was young in our friendship. We were like secretly dating. People didn't know. And it was like 2 o'clock at a Waffle House, 2 a.m. at a Waffle House. And we were talking to him about people like always giving you advice and information, and they're so vastly different. trying to figure out what do I listen to, what do I not. And he was like, you guys like chicken wings? He goes, easy. You'll never forget this. Chew the meat and spit the bones. When somebody's speaking into your life, whether it's from a relational standpoint or they're critiquing you, you chew the meat and then you spit the bones. So you take what's healthy for you, you digest it, and then the rest of it, you just let it go.
Wow.
That is good.
That's so good.
Come on. Go ahead, Ray.
Mine is from one of my favorite preachers, James Powell. He said this weekend.
Mine was from my favorite book on singleness from Ryan Wekenman.
Doesn't even know the name of it.
Oh, it's over there.
Single today and thriving tomorrow.
Yeah, you're close. Is Jesus asked over 300 questions in the Gospels, which is crazy because he's God. He knows everything. He didn't need to ask questions for his own wisdom. He was asking questions because he knows the power of asking questions in relationships. Get really good at asking people questions and then give them space to answer and talk about themselves.
That's good. It reminded me.
Thanks, James.
Did you know that he answered approximately 187 of the questions he asked? Also pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Boomerang.
Which means he didn't
Approximately
answer a
or
whole lot of them.
exactly?
Approximately.
Okay.
Well, because
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
between 183 and 191.
yes.
182. Click 182.
There it is.
Shout
All the
Strangers. Were you going to say something, Doug?
Go ahead.
The question thing reminded me of Ted Lasso, the darts scene, when he quotes,
So good.
be curious.
Bro.
That's a really good piece of relationship advice. Be curious about that person.
on.
Keep asking questions. Keep wanting to learn more about them. Because a lot of people, I think, get married and very quickly they lose that curiosity to know them more because they're just kind of like, this is who you are. So, Ted Lasso, be curious. Walt Whitman.
That's really good. A couple years before I met Sam, when I heard a message where the pastor talked about, he kind of debunked the idea of a soulmate and one perfect person out there for everybody. And it actually released all the pressure in the world. And instead was find somebody that you enjoy spending time with, that you're compatible with, that's heading in the same direction as you, that you can be equally yoked to. And they become your soulmate because you decide they are.
Come on.
Yeah.
But it's not because you found the one person on the planet who could possibly be that. And that makes that even cooler because that's based on your decision and your will choosing to commit to somebody and vice versa. And I think that takes a lot of pressure off finding and choosing so you can actually make a decision when it comes to this huge decision in your life.
That's how that's what you kept telling Sam to convince her.
I was like, babe.
There's not just one person out
me.
there. That's Disney.
You
Yeah.
get to choose.
I was like, babe,
Make me that.
we're all this messed up. If anything, I'm the least messed up.
I talked to the guys. I'm telling you. We got together.
Ryan and Ethan said
I'm the least of the worst.
Can't tell you how lucky you are, Sam, to even know.
Sometimes I wish I was you, just so I could know what it's like to be married to me. Just so lucky.
It just cuts that part out and put it on social media.
Clip it.
Perfect.
Kayla, great questions
Good job,
today.
Kayla.
Really a good job. That
Phenomenal.
when you wear any buffs gear, it just levels you up for the day.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on.
Who
why
asked
don't-
more questions, Jesus or Kayla?
That is
When
a
it's all said and
question in and of
done,
itself.
you have a couple more years. You have till you're
Yeah.
33.
Yeah.
Okay.
Top 'em.
Why
James
don't
is
you
way
guys?
past that.
Yeah. That was half your life ago.
Yep.
James, if you could tell
what I was
a
going to
30
ask you guys, you may not even really remember a lot of this, but tell us the story of how you met,
Oh, yeah.
how you guys got together. I know that was so long ago, and your brain,
My memory's fading
Yeah,
at
of
this
course.
point.
Well,
My age.
tell us your story.
I have to call my parents because I was so young, so they remember. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Ridiculous.
I'm just
Because
kidding,
James was
babe.
childhood friends with your parents.
And my dad go way back.
Cam and Pop.
We met and it was like what 2000,
That's really.
In the
2007,
year 2000.
Or 2008.
I think 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Anyways, we were doing an internship at this church in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, Decatur, Georgia, to be exact.
Wait, how old were you at this time?
No
No more age jokes for James.
Okay.
Like
Tell us the
20,
truth.
22.
You are a young,
21,
strapping,
20-ish.
I was 21.
great man.
Yeah, I was 20. He's 21.
Okay.
21.
Okay.
And so I was there before James was at the internship, and it was orientation day, and I was standing in the foyer, which is the lobby of the church.
Ooh.
And
Correct.
Let's bring that.
That.
Yeah.
Foyer.
The foyer.
You have the French
Yeah.
influence in Cajun culture.
Well, it was also just a very outdated church, and if you called it the lobby, the old people got really mad.
Well, some people are like, meet me
Like
in the
gold
foyer.
lions
Meet
is
me in the
weird.
foyer.
Meet me in the
Foyer.
foyer.
But that's not the accurate.
In
Okay.
Fellowship Hall.
Yeah. Oh.
How many churches have
Before-
Fellowship
and
Hall,
Sunday-
and that's what
Sunday
it's called.
school, and then
there's a
Fellowship Hall
plaque. There's a
afterwards.
plaque right outside the room.
I love it.
I
Fellowship
kind of
Hall.
respect that because you're just saying what it is. We're there to fellowship, and it's a hall. Let's call it fellowship.
Well,
hall.
that it should
I
be
say we bring it
fellowship
back.
room.
Fellowship room. You're
Yes.
right. You're right. I take it all back. Start the podcast over, Jacob.
Okay, wait. She's in the lobby.
'Kay.
So I literally round the corner and I go, this is creepy unless we ended up married. But I was like, oh, dude, there she is. Like, I'm gonna marry that girl.
Right there.
Which is crazy because
Right there.
at the exact same moment, I look up and our eyes lock, and I go, "Oh, there he is, the guy I can't stand." It's perfect.
Literally.
It's perfect. James was actually
really?
wearing. I
Oh,
like to
dead.
say what he was wearing too, because he was wearing cargo shorts, which
Yeah.
are like coming back in style ish, I guess.
Yeah.
Boat shoes, which are like Sperry's.
Sperry's.
Back
And
in
did you
style.
have the double polo button, like flip
Probably
up
never coming
collar
back in
thing?
style.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
double,
yeah, yeah.
the
That
double
would-
polo.
That one needs to
Collar
I
roll.
was
pop.
always popping my collar.
Yeah.
Popping
You and
my
Ethan,
collar.
man.
He was into that.
Come on. You do it too?
I'm sure I did.
Double pop collar. Let's
We
go.
we have a buddy who's always claimed that the first time he ever saw me, I had two
He
popped
swears
collars. I'm
by
like,
it.
I didn't own two collared shirts at that point in my life.
Abercrombie polo.
Whatever.
Yes.
Hollister
yeah.
body spray by Jake.
Yeah,
Oh
no
yeah,
way.
too much of
Yeah.
it.
Or a little fierce. Every once in a while, the
You know,
fierce.
you know what needs to come back? Rugby shirts. Rugby shirts were
They're
cool.
coming
They are.
back.
They
Oh,
are.
perfect. Well, I already-
Bro.
well, I guess I
Wow,
called it.
Profit.
There you go.
Fashion profit.
Fashionista.
Yeah.
Fashionista.
Okay. So you immediately couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Wait, that's good news for everybody who can't stand me. Like, I grow on you eventually. Like, it works out. Just let me stick around. It's
Okay,
fine.
Britt, that
I will
is
wear
good to
you
hear. That's
down.
encouraging for me.
Doug's like, and how long did it take?
Wait,
Chris?
okay. It was almost a year.
Give it time. Just give it time.
It was almost a year.
So yeah, so I was actually dating this guy back home.
Oh.
And then
Dude,
James
total
Get
dork.
this guy. Total dork.
I literally showed Braxton the other day, our oldest, a video of this guy and go, dude, this could have been your dad. And he goes, Mom, what? That guy's so weird.
to which I then pulled up James's ex-girlfriend
Oh, boy.
that I
Yeah.
will not say her name, but I will
Well,
offline
they
because it
probably
makes
both
it
watch
even
this podcast.
more
Yeah,
entertaining.
Nearly everyone does.
And I pulled up a selfie strong that
Oh,
she
boy.
had pulled up, and then Braxton goes, "Whoa."
So that's what we do. It's
Buzz,
healthy.
your girlfriend.
It's healthy.
Woof.
It's just shaming other people.
Good for your kids to know
Ah.
what-
Okay,
Yeah.
Britt's dating this dork though. And,
Absolutely.
so what I did was I waited. We were doing this fundraiser, and they're playing. There's this like golf booth, and there's this guy there. So I was like, "Hey, show her how to putt real quick." And then I took a picture. I was like, "I'm gonna send this to your boyfriend," and she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, you could do way better."
Yeah.
You said that like first time you met?
Oh no,
No.
This is like a couple months.
Yeah.
in.
Oh, okay.
So I
Okay,
ran
okay.
fundraising for the internship
bold
that
either
we were
way.
in, and
I like
James
it.
is a bold guy.
and we actually we were working like a NASCAR event. And I thought, you know what? I'll show this Bama boy. And I put him, Talladega, Alabama, NASCAR event. I put him on the back of a trash truck from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., 3 days in a row.
Wow.
And he had such a good attitude that I felt really bad. And I was like, oh, maybe he's not like a complete turd. And then, so it all started at Talladega, Alabama, I guess.
Talladega
NASCAR.
Nights.
Back to our roots, babe.
Talladega
Your
Nights.
roots.
Wow. So that's when your opinion changed of him.
Yeah, I was like, okay, he's actually a kind of like nice.
Yeah.
Humble servant.
Yeah,
He had a good attitude.
yeah.
Attitude is a
We
choice.
actually
Exactly,
we have
exactly.
Attitude's attractive.
we have
Yes.
a trash truck outside today, so we can all get the same experience.
We're gonna take
gonna
the
be
cameras
awesome.
out there.
Yeah. Do it 3 days
Be
with James
alive.
on the truck.
Yes.
Plenty of trash to pick up around our church if anybody wants to play that angle.
Yeah.
Hey, come on.
Over the church.
Earth beat.
So
awesome.
there you go.
Parking lot.
Your opinion starts to change. How did you start dating?
So this was
And
like.
when did you break up with?
Well, okay, so
this other guy?
was, yeah, I was gonna get to that.
yeah.
So this was like September, October-ish. I drive back to Louisiana for Thanksgiving break. I pull up in my driveway. Non-name guy is sitting there with flowers. I get out of the car. I go, I'm so sorry. Don't give me those. I'm breaking up with you. I walk into the
You
house.
thought I was bold.
Yeah. And he just looks at me. I was like, we shouldn't even talk about it. It's not, this is done. I walk into the house, my parents already knew, and they threw me a party because they were so glad I broke up with this guy.
It was this time.
Yeah, it was the time. And then after
Clarity is
that,
kindness.
Yes.
after graduation,
Yes, it's unkind.
after our graduation from the internship, James, he asked me to be his girlfriend at this park called Best Friend Park because we were best friends. But I almost got arrested at the park because it was after hours and I didn't know. So it's a whole nother.
Park's curfew.
Yeah.
Park's closed.
Apparently, like crazy
So there are
stuff goes
police
down.
officers there. They're like getting ready to arrest her, and I walk from behind the like blue and red lights. And from that golf thing, I took the golf ball from that first fundraiser thing. Yep. And I came over. I was like, "Hey, since that day, I've been wanting to ask you for your number.
What?
Can I get your number?"
Nice.
Come on.
It's a good move, James.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's good.
Heyo.
And then the rest was history.
Yeah,
We-
just smooth sailing from there. It's easy. Never
Started
never
dating,
a
got
problem.
engaged,
Yeah.
got married.
No,
Kids.
Perfect.
you know,
Yeah.
Perfect.
just like the movies.
That's awesome.
I looked at her and I was like, "You complete me," and it was done.
And you've been perfectly complete.
100%.
So fulfilled.
Totally,
Yes.
he has been.
Which was kind of
Totally.
the point of the relationship series. was
Yes.
that all of your fulfillment is found in just
In
another
other people.
person.
Well, because we are all, you're only a
Soulmates.
half of a soul, so you have to find the other half.
Yeah.
there's
That
only
makes
one,
you
and there's
one
only one
completion.
half out there. for
Yeah,
you.
because you're a
soulmate.
broken puzzle piece
Despite what
looking
Doug
for another
said.
broken puzzle
Yep.
piece.
That's
It's
it.
great.
If right now you just tuned in right here, we're joking.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
These
That
are
is
all
not true.
lies.
This is not true.
Right.
Then, so you started dating. You proposed.
Yep.
Where,
Yeah.
obviously,
So
but where?
okay. You're like, oh yeah, got it.
Okay, yes. Good.
So December 5th, 2009.
Look at you.
I took Brit to Atlanta.
This is a
back-
year later? 2 years later?
We
Yeah,
only
year.
dated for 6
One,
months.
1 month later?
We dated for
6
6
months.
months and then
6
got
months.
engaged.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I take her.
Officially dated.
We were. I was living in Birmingham, Alabama. We drive back to Best Friend Park. And I tell her it's for her birthday, which is December 16th.
Which is a
And-
lie, which is good
Yes,
in relationships.
lies are good.
Whoa. Yeah.
And Ethan's half birthday.
Oh,
Crazy.
my
What's your
gosh.
half birthday?
Oh,
June 16th.
yeah, there we go.
This is too crazy.
This is wild.
Wow.
Oh, are
and
you June
Ethan's a big
16th?
half birthday guy.
Yes.
June 16th.
Okay. His
Yeah.
mom is June 17th.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
that matters, but
Let's get her on the phone.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
She
June.
said,
Doug's June
I
20th.
brought you
so.
into this world, I can take you out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tried a few times.
Uh,
Oh, so
too much
I,
in common.
do you
Cops
celebrate
came the
half
night of-
birthdays? Because I'm down to do this
Well,
actually. Because
my-
coming up
when I
would
was
be a
a
gift
kid,
time.
my mom would like make a special graham cracker with frosting on it
Yes.
from like a half birthday thing.
Oh.
And then these are the kinds of things that I'd share, and then it gets carried away to where now Steph's like, "Oh, you're obsessed with your half birthday." I'm like,
Yeah.
all right."
oh, dude.
Crazy.
Sorry.
My mom for my half birthday would get me like diamonds and stuff. Yeah. So we should carry.
This
I'm
is
totally
awesome.
joking.
I was like,
I'm
oh,
like great tradition.
This
baby.
is- this was a
Did
bad.
You have
this
the
was
presents
bad.
in your closet already.
Yeah.
That's right. You have
Yeah.
the presents. June 16th.
Yeah,
You're already
that's-
going to be sending something to me. It's great. The cops also came the night of our first kiss because of a park curfew. So we'll tell that story another time. But a lot in common here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to the park 6 months later.
Oh yeah, 6 months later. So we're driving back from Atlanta to Birmingham, and we're one exit away from the airport. I hand her a birthday card for the next day. I go, "Hey, go ahead and open it." She does. It's plane tickets to New York. We go straight to the airport. We fly to New York, and at that point we had this guardrail, like we didn't do overnight stays.
Right.
So we red eye to New York City. We go shopping, spend all day there, and we're gonna go back, fly back to Birmingham. Instead, we stop in Times Square. I have my buddy Eric meet me there. He's playing our song right there in the middle of Times Square. Walk up, I get down on one knee, snowing, propose. She's shocked. So literally, she leaves me there. It's probably a legit minute, and everything's freezing around us. And some guy finally like yells out some expletives, and he goes, "Well, lady, like, what are you gonna say?" And she's like, "Oh. Yeah, yes. And I was like, okay, woo. You didn't even have to think about it? No.
Yeah.
We kiss, we jump in the taxi, and Brit's like, hey, I think I have a few questions. I was like, okay, like what?
Well, we
Like the
never
math
talked about
questions, or-
never talked about getting married. It was actually
You had
like
never talked about
Ever.
it.
so 2 weeks
Okay.
before 2 weeks before he proposed to me, I had got him a dog for his birthday. And she had broke her leg, and I called the vet, and they called me Miss Powell, and I told him that, and he goes, "Miss Powell, that's stupid. Did you tell me you're just my girlfriend?" And I was like, "Yes, I did. Thanks." Like, and so
Throw her off the scent.
So yeah, so when he
It didn't go as well as I thought.
when he got down on one knee and this guy's
That's
playing our
stupid.
song, I just froze and I was like, "What is actually happening? Is this a prank? Like, this is not a nice joke." Like, it was taking a lot for me to process, and so then I said yes, and we got in the taxi, and I go, "Do you want to have kids?" And he's like, do you? I go, I don't know. Maybe. I was
like,
and then
well,
I go,
if you do, great.
Did you ask my dad? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, cool.
Yeah.
Here we go.
She's like, where do you want to live? I was like, where do you want to live?
I don't know.
So for me, I was like that stuff matters to me, but like, here's something I'm sure about. I'm kind of unsure about the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with what I'm sure about, and then we'll figure the rest out.
And you were
Let's
sure
go.
about Brit.
Yeah.
And then you got married how long after the engagement?
6 months.
6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
July
So
3rd.
good, man.
Where did you get married?
In Louisiana, and it was hotter than Lord. It was hot.
It was crazy. But it was a great wedding.
Hotter than what? What do you think?
Yeah. What were you thinking, Brent?
H-E double
You
hockey
guys going on a
sticks.
honeymoon?
We did.
We
Where?
did.
Playa-
Los Cabos.
Not Los Cabos. No. It was like
Los Playas.
It was a cheaper version than Cancun.
Playa del Carmen.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Which to this day I had the
majored in
best
Mexico
chips and
resorts.
salsa and guacamole, and no one has ever came
Oh,
close
that
to
sounds so
making
good.
it that way.
Have you ever gone back to see if they still have it?
No,
Well,
No.
we should.
well, we're sending you guys on the Afterthoughts podcast is sending you
Curtain
back to
number one.
Playa del Carmen. That's cool. Okay.
Afterthoughts has to figure out what to do with all the income that we have from all of our sponsors.
Our sponsors.
Yeah,
They're actually gonna
there's just
sponsor
a
the
stack
trip.
of money behind the couch.
No way.
We're kind of bad. We're being bad stewards of it.
Yeah, we're burying it.
Most everything on here is made of cash. That's pretty crazy technology. All right, let's ask these guys some questions about relationships. Think of one or two.
Yep. I got one.
Oh,
Give us
the floor is yours. This is like a press
The
conference.
floor is lava.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got one. I'm just kidding.
Number one thing. Okay, so wind the clock back to New York. The song's playing. He's proposing.
You're not saying anything.
You're not saying anything.
Nothing.
not willing to commit yet.
If you could talk to that person right now, tell us one thing that you learned about each other throughout the last 14 years that was very unexpected.
I thought you were going to say, what's one thing you would say to them? And then I was nervous. She was going to say, don't do it.
Never. I never would have. Never.
So
That's
over
a
the
really
last
good
14 years, one thing you learned about each other that you weren't expecting to learn during the dating phase.
Wow.
You ready? You and me go.
You go.
I don't think I knew how deeply broken I still was. And so I had no idea that over the next 3 to 4 years, Brit would teach me actually how to love. And like, it's not like the Hallmark deal. Like she would actually teach me that love meant I didn't have to hide. That love meant like I could be broken. And that took, first 2 years into our marriage, like I didn't know I could do that. So anytime I mess up, I was like, oh, that's the end of the marriage.
Yeah.
Like if we fought, I was like, oh, that's the end of the marriage. Like I literally thought that constantly. So I had this idea, she's gonna leave at some point. My only job in this relationship is don't give her a reason. And so, I'll never forget, man. We were living in Seattle, Washington, and just tears running down her face and her going like, I love you. Like I'm here. Like I'm not going anywhere. And I was like, oh, and I didn't know that. Yeah. So I think for me, I would say like, I had no idea that I didn't know what love was fully, and that she would teach me not just how to love her, which is awesome, how to love myself, and then how to also be loved. So, yeah.
I should have went
good.
first because that's a really good answer.
That's
And
really
I'm
good.
sitting here going, how am I going to up this one?
Back to the beginning.
I think if I could go back to 2009, what I would tell myself is it's okay to feel safe and it's okay to let him in, and not like growing up in the South. My dad was a very strong male personality. And so ideally, like all of my friends, you marry your high school sweetheart, you keep a clean house, you have 3 meals cooked a day, you're to be seen, not heard type of situation. And I was always strong-willed and like busting through that. But I think through that, I was always trying to prove my love to James instead of just receiving the love he was giving me and knowing that I was safe in his love. And I think it would have caused us to grow a lot faster through some of those things where he felt more safe in the love I was trying to give him, because I was always trying to perform and do all these acts of service to show him like I'm worth being loved. but all he wanted me to do was be present with him and love him where he's at. Like what you said earlier, I literally, when we were at Southeastern University, I would tell all these girls, I'm like, you have this dream list of what you want in a guy, but you're setting yourself up for failure because you're going to grow together. You don't marry the person of your dreams. You become the person of each other's dreams throughout time. And
Wait, that's really good.
Wow.
And so
write that on the
releasing
Hall
those
of Fame of quotes.
2 clips for this.
Releasing the expectations of like what I thought James should be and who I thought I should be, and just enjoying the moment and growing together. I wish I could go back in time and just go, it's fine. We're going to argue. We're going to fight. We're going to have disagreements, but we're also going to have a lot of fun.
Wow. That's so good, Brit.
Dang.
Okay. Wow.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you said you cut Ryan off and said you had a question, so I was going to give you a chance before I asked something.
No, well.
I would like to ask a question.
Okay. James, you mentioned in your sermon this past weekend that there are spewers and stewers and throwers when it comes to conflict or communication.
Right.
So can you just really quick explain that for somebody who didn't watch the message, but then maybe you guys say what you are? Yeah.
So, like obviously, trying to be cute with it and rhyme, but there are people who are like verbal processors, and they just, man, you never have to question what they're thinking. There's like they're most of the time super passionate and loud and boisterous in other areas, and so it just comes naturally that when there's conflict, they have that same type of communication.
Spewer. That's the spewer.
That's the spewer.
Okay.
The stewer would be somebody who stuffs their emotions down. I'm going to keep these suppressed. I'm going to keep these quiet. I'll handle it myself. Everything is fine until it's not. And then the thrower is somebody who's just like, man, I'm looking for a reason for somebody to leave or for me to leave. And then what are we?
Yeah.
Oh, what am I, babe?
Perfect.
No, I'm for sure.
You have become the man of her dreams by this point.
Wow.
Come on.
Wow.
No, I think that's at 60.
Okay, so 2 years.
last year?
Almost there.
Right around the corner.
So close.
Thankful for the AARP discount that I didn't know.
Big time.
For me, I'm definitely the spewer. But it's very interesting because I think throughout the length of any relationship, you start adjusting your tactics if you're trying to win an argument. So if I'm healthy, I'm still a verbal processor, but I do it the right way. If I'm unhealthy and just trying to win an argument with her, now I'll be a stewer because I go, well, I'm a spewer, so I'm not going to do that, right? So healthy me goes, I am going to be who I am and authentic, and I'm going to verbally process with you, and I'm going to do that in a way that's healthy, though.
That's actually a really interesting, not to like break this down, but it could be a whole sermon. This framework is very, very helpful. And you could also go to where you go in health and unhealth.
100%.
Because you would think like if you're a spewer, then the healthy version of you would be to actually hold it in. That's not true at all.
Right.
It's finding the redeemed version of that. We could go on that forever. Brit, which one are you?
Oh, stewer all the way. Just stuff. And I think through that, I have learned, I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, so I don't want to fail anybody. I want everybody to be impressed with me. So I never want to be vulnerable or like at emotional state. And I, especially with the main person in my life, that I don't want him to think anything less of me. But through that, I have realized that you can only stuff for so long before it comes out. But more importantly, not how it comes out, it's the walls that you build up whenever you like stuff. When you stuff, you just become numb to the conversation. So while he's being a better spewer and using his words and trying to communicate through it, if I'm not growing in my stewing, then all of his words are just falling on basically my deaf ears of being like, okay, yeah, whatever. In my head, I'm just trying to get through this argument. And then I always want to just get in a better spot. So I'm like, let's just talk about it and then be done with it. We need to talk about it, process it, and then communicate about it. But I still have to stuff a little bit because it has to make sense in my head before I can have the conversation because I never want my words to be hurtful or painful. But sometimes what I've realized is saying exactly how I feel helps him to understand what I'm processing. So it's just the art of communication. It just goes back to communication. And in my opinion, which you can correct me on this, I think both of them, if not treated then you both turn to a thrower.
Yeah.
Like you're both just looking for the out at that point because you're not willing to communicate.
I do think the growth stage, like what you were talking about, is what we've seen in, again, we're not experts by any means. We're like just constantly trying to learn about each other in relationships. But I think the growth stage for us was you got spewer, right? Unhealthy, scream, don't talk. Yeah. All right. Then the next growth stage was, okay, let's both try to adapt to each other. Okay. And that doesn't work because then we both are like, wait, that's inauthentic. I'm stuffing, she's spewing. That doesn't work. Okay. Let's both just put all of our feelings on the table. I feel better about it. She feels worse about it. Oh, let's both internal. But I think over time where we've gotten is communication still is a necessity. So what she will do is go like, hey, can we talk about this? I know that's her throwing up the flag going, I've internally processed. For me, I'll say, hey, I'd like to talk about this. Can you tell me when that's a good time? And so it gives her a heads up. Yeah. So I think for us, when we're navigating like more in-depth conflict or passionate disagreements, what we try to do is I try to give her a heads up. She tries to let me still be in the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or I'll start deep cleaning everything. And
If
then
the
he's
vacuum
like,
breaks out, then we're gonna have a conversation.
she's not happy.
That's so funny. Yep. Can you give us a story of maybe a time when you guys like had a passionate disagreement where like you realized that we got to figure out communication because it went so poorly? And then can you give a story of like a place where you went through something hard or you had conflict that you handled in a healthy way as an example of both?
Yes. Oh man, there's lots of examples in that front end from my end.
Both ends.
I think
Kind.
I think honestly, like one of the healthier. I'll start with a healthy one.
Okay.
One of the healthy ones even was just recently when we moved to Denver. So like Kayla mentioned earlier, like, hey, you guys have moved around like a grip, and man, I've always been excited about that. Like every time we've moved, we've really felt like this was like a God door that was open for our lives, for our purpose, for our family, and that was exciting. But we're also wired different. So for me, I'm like this pioneer adventurer. I'm so excited about this next season. I rarely hold on to anything from the last one. I'm like, okay, all the way here. Okay, all the way here. And so recently, when we first moved to Denver, we were sitting down with Sean and Jill, and they were just talking through some of their story. And I looked at Brit and I go, wait a minute. This is the first time I've thought, like, you're probably still processing 2 moves ago. I didn't think about that. And so like we had this moment where I was like, hey, I just say I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that I didn't ask. I kind of had this expectation like, oh yeah, like we believe God's doing this and we're on board and awesome. And now we have no feelings about it because that's how I'm wired. So I think that would be a healthy way that I think we re-navigated it.
Yeah, learning to see things through both lenses, not just your own lens, is a very, very big key to relationship.
Yeah.
Most people can't do.
I think probably one that took us a little bit to figure out that was like a constant point of tension was our family of origin story of just when you get married and then when you have kids, you're inviting all of that into your marriage and trying to navigate that and figure it out. And when I'm unhealthy, I people please. And then when James is unhealthy, he fights for like what's right in a passionate way. And so us coming to the understanding and the conclusion, probably what took us like 5-6 years in, to go, hey, if it comes to family stuff and we keep hitting this tension point, like you handle your family, I'll handle my family through that conversation instead of them going around. And if they didn't get what they wanted from James, then they came to me, or if they didn't get what they wanted from me, they go to James. And us realizing we're our own family now, and we have to set up boundaries and guardrails for our family. While they might not understand that in the moment, it's protecting us and protecting them, because when we said I do, it was us two, and it wasn't my mom and dad and his mom and dad included in that. It was like a release from that. And so navigating that, and then when you bring kids into the picture, it gets a little more tricky, but I feel like that's something that we have gotten so good at doing, and now it's not uncomfortable for our families. They're automatically, it almost like before they ask something, they'll think through it, and they'll be like, oh wait, no, that's gonna be an automatic no, because they're taking care of them and it's not about us anymore. And because our families, we love them so deeply and we're both so close to our families, and we thought, oh, we can just mesh everybody together and be one big family unit. And our families get along, but it was more of it's us and it's our family against the world at this point. And if we can't fight for us and we're fighting for other people, then we're losing this battle.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think we probably get asked when it comes to relationship struggles. Extended family is one of the biggest topics that gets brought up. How do we navigate this? How have you guys like tangibly communicated with your families? How have you walked that out? Because I think for so many people, they don't want to hurt their families. It's hard to cut the cord in some ways. There's important people. Sometimes though, it's like, oh, your outlet is still your parent, not your spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you guys walk through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one, what Brit was referencing is like you always need to be the bad guy to the extended family of your origin. So like Brit, I will not communicate, hey, Brit wants to just be us this Christmas. No, that's not how that gets communicated. It's, hey, here's what we've planned this Christmas.
Yeah.
This is it's my onus
Yeah.
because I have more equity, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So for one, like that's one of the things that we try to do. Two, we both just made the agreement, we're like, no marriage can have 6 people in it. And so I can't have my mom and dad's opinion on everything we do financially. And so we decided to establish, each of us have what we call a board for our life. And that board for our life are the outlets of investment mentorship that we need. So we come to each other with everything vulnerable, authentic, but also if we're looking for advice, like I have somebody who holds me accountable in the area of my marriage. That's not a parent or extended family. That's somebody who's an expert in this area or an expert on us. And she has the same. So we know there's gonna be outside input, but it's somebody we both agreed on, not just our family. Because nobody can be unbiased. Like it is your family.
Right.
So they're gonna see it through a lens of what's best for you, not always what's best for us.
You guys both have you share the same sort of board, or you each have one?
We each have separate, but we share 2 people that are the same. So that you can speak in. So there's 2 couples who sit there, and like the guy holds me accountable in the marriage, and then another guy holds me accountable as a father, and then she has the wife of each of those.
Wow.
But then outside of that, like theology, finance, we share the finance. That's our financial investor, and that's cool. CPA.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you come up with that idea?
Yeah.
Well, I was in deep prayer one day. No, just kidding. It's all James. It's his inner workings. It's his mind.
No.
It just,
Well, honestly, I was at Catalyst one day on a West Coast in Irvine, California, and I do not remember which speaker brought it up, but one speaker brought up just this idea of like, oh, you should have a board for your life, and moved on. And I was like, wait a minute, like what's on a board? And so I looked up like a company, and I was like, oh, they have like chief technical officer. And so for me, like I have chief integrity officer. I have a chief encouragement officer, where every time I call this person, they know their role in my life is just to encourage me. So when I call them and tell them all these things are going on, they don't give me advice. They're like, no, I know my role in your life. You have an advisor for this. You have an advisor for that. You're going to call them, but I'm here just to encourage you. And if you're calling me today, you feel low. And so, yeah.
Dude, that's so okay. Just for someone that's listening to this going, I want to do that. I have no idea where to start.
Yeah.
Let's make it really simple.
Yeah.
5 people on your board, starting point. Finances seems like a huge one.
Yeah, I would say finances. I think integrity for me is like a chief integrity officer. So I have somebody who asks me tough questions.
Yeah.
I built the questions. They know to ask them.
Yep.
My responsibility is to call them, not them to catch me.
So you're going, here's the man I want to be.
Yep.
Your job is to hold me accountable to this.
100, and I would say my job is to hold me accountable by calling you.
Yes.
Because then if they have to catch me.
Great.
Yeah.
Because then you're not 3 months and wondering, this person's abandoned me. They haven't checked in. It's like, no, that's on you.
Yes. Right.
You
That's
call them.
That's right.
And that's the thing with the board is it's always initiated by me unless Brit calls them.
I love
and she has free reign to always call them and go, hey, he's not okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Finances, integrity, encourager.
Yeah, I would say encouragement is huge. I think we all
CEO.
need it. CEO. Yep.
Nice.
I think I would say somewhere like to me, integrity and spirituality are different. I think you need somebody in your life who is ahead of you spiritually. And here's the great thing: all these people don't need to be experts. They're just further along than you are.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you catch them, it's okay to change the board out. Like if you catch up to where they are and you need somebody a little further along, change it out.
That's great.
So, but I would say those are 3 essential ones. And I think depending on your stage of life, you add to those and go like, okay, what is it in your area of expertise? What do you need? That sort of thing. So
That's so helpful. Man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That answers, in one sense, I was going to ask, you guys 14 years into marriage strike me as a couple who's still very much, people would say in love, I think. I think that people think of that as like a spell gets cast on you and now you just, can't help yourself. But more that you have chosen to fight to love each other, live in love with each other. What have been keys to that? Obviously, the board is a huge part of your growth. What are other practical things you've done through good, bad, and ugly to be a couple that 14 years in? You guys seem to really enjoy marriage.
Yeah.
And love each other and be rooting for each other and not fighting with each other but for each other. What has got you to where you're at right now?
As cheesy as it sounds, James is like literally my best friend. So if we're fighting, it kills me on the inside because he's like the first person I want to tell good news to, bad news to. Like, I want to give him, he asked me one question, I want to talk for 10 minutes and tell him all the details, which he only wants like, brief synopsis. What man wants to hear all the details?
Depends what it is, though. If it's about me and how amazing I am, I really
and your biceps.
got a deep dive on that.
And so I think a lot of it for me, and I'll let James speak for him, I've watched, not that my parents are bad people, I just watched their relationship, and as they've gotten older, especially when you become a mom, you put all of your investment in your children. And our Braxton, our 10-year-old, he gets so mad when I say this, but he knows it. I go, who do I love more? And he goes, Dad. And I'm like, that's right, because our children are a product of our passion. And if I put everything into them and I neglect him, they're going to leave me one day, and then he's going to be stuck with me. And so I try to keep that mindset of going, when I said yes to him, I said yes to him for forever. And that's going to take a lot of work, but also fun. Yeah. And putting investment into this marriage and having fun and just still like being dorky and holding his hand and doing quirky little things that we did when we were dating to remind him that like, hey, I still care about you and you still give me butterflies. And just trying to keep it fun and lighthearted while we navigate life together and being open, honest, and vulnerable. So I feel like watching my parents' relationship and seeing where they're at now, like they just coexist and they don't communicate. And so I'm going, what are steps I can take to be different than that?
Yeah, it's like, what's the marriage we want to have when we're in our 60s and 70s? Not that far away. So,
I was gonna say it.
But no, I think that's a key part of it. So we do like probably once every 2 months. It's not like scheduled, but I'll just like, we'll check in and I'll ask Brit questions like, do you feel like because of what I do for a living, it's put a limit on your purpose in life? Do you feel like you can lead to the fullness of who you are? Can you be authentically who you are in the environment we're in? Because if she can't, eventually that will cause a separation between us. Anyone can sacrifice for a season, but to sacrifice fully who you are for a lifetime, none of us can do that. You just can't. You'll live disintegrated, like from who you are. And so we have that conversation. But then what she was saying, what did you do when you felt in love? Okay,
a lot of making out.
Right. Yes. But those feelings lead you to something, right?
Ryan's just sitting on the couch, just feeling the steam.
A cord of 3 strands.
Cannot be easily broken.
A catch. That is not what this means.
But you know what I mean? Like
we do not promote it.
I think God gave us
Ryan
emotions.
is the third wheel here.
Often, if they're in a healthy way, to lead us somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? So that spark or that chemistry early on in romance is supposed to get you somewhere. It's to lead you. That's why God gives it to us. So he gives us this feeling, but then the feeling led us somewhere to do something, to sacrifice, to love, to engage. So now what we do is we go like, hey, there's intentionally things that we can do that when we felt it. I don't need to feel it now to do it. So like, what do? When we felt in love, we were like, oh, we went on trips. We went to restaurants. We held hands. I went shopping all day with her, right? Now,
Amen.
I could easily go like, dude, got her. Like, no, now I go, what did I do when I felt it? And so like, sometimes I ask myself like, what's the most romantic side of me? What would that guy do? And that's what I try to do.
He'd take me to Quiznos and get me a chicken carbonara with extra banana
sauce,
peppers and
come on.
extra sauce, no mushrooms, and a Starbucks.
It's one of our first dates, by the way.
Quiznos is good.
Quiznos is great.
Come on. I don't know. Is Quiznos everywhere?
I don't know.
I
You gotta
think
get it well
Colorado.
done.
They are in Colorado. We haven't had one in a hot minute.
They're in
because
Atlanta.
they're not very healthy.
Yeah, they gotta be nationwide.
Oh, sandwiches are healthy,
Yeah.
right?
Loaded with
Bread.
Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, the bread is bread of life.
Oh, I am pretty
Easy,
there.
easy.
Oh,
That's next
is
one.
that the next sermon?
Come on.
Is that the
Dude,
next
great
series?
preview.
I think another big question we'll land the plane here is we have so many young families in our church, parents who are just starting out. And I know you guys are going to say, well, we're not experts on being parents by any means. However, being maybe a few years down the road further than a lot of the people who are listening to this podcast, do you have any advice for young parents? What is one thing that you would say to encourage a dad who just became a dad or a mom who just became a mom?
Yeah. You will fail to be what you think you should be. You're going to fail. Oof. And the sooner you go, I'm going to fail as a father, I go, okay, now what do I do in light of that? I think for me, man, I was like, I'm going to be it's just how I'm wired. I'm going to be the best dad in the world. I'm going to do everything right. I'm going to do Brit, we have all these affirmations before they go to school. I'm the head, not the tail. I'm a leader, not a follower. I am a Powell. And then, at night it's, hey, who's my best big buddy? You are. Who's my best big buddy? I am. All right. Proud to be your dad. Proud to be your son. I mean, so I put all these things down, I'm going to do it. Yeah. But I failed. And so it took that first failure under my belt to go oh, it's not going to be how perfect I am. I'm going to miss things. I'm going to drop things. I'm going to mess up. What do I want Braxton and Grayson to end with? Who do I want them to become? Because they're going to become who I am, not just what I tell them. So I'd say, hey, when you fail, apologize. And so I came home a few weeks ago. It was probably maybe 6 weeks ago. My boys heard me telling a story to Brit, and I was using some language, and they heard me, and I noticed that. And so I came home that day, and I set them both down on the couch. I got on my knees, and I just looked them in the eyes and said, guys, I am so sorry. That is not what a man who loves Jesus does or says. And the way I did that, it was wrong. And because that was wrong for me, that's what you call sin. And I want you to know I apologize to Jesus, and I have forgiveness. I've talked to your mom, and I want to apologize to you guys. Will you forgive me? And that's what I want for my boys. I want them to know you can screw up, and there's still a second chance. So,
man, I imagine there's not a ton of people whose parent ever apologized to them, because I think parents are afraid to do that because it means you've shattered the image of yourself, and your kid's going to feel unstable because their parent made a mistake and admitted it. Whereas the humility to apologize to your kid actually frees them to see you as a human. Because how many people is the conversation as an adult, I'm finally seeing my parent as a human now, so I can forgive some things. It's what if you had opened that door up when they were a kid to show them that you're human, so they could live a life of seeing you in the right light, not trying to be the perfect superhero or the person who would never admit a mistake. So that's
my seat that I long for when they're in their 20s is the seat of influence, because I won't have the power position anymore. So what I'm trying to do now is I can't get there all the way yet, right? So I can't get to friend zone. Still some shaping and molding that's got to exist. But my target that I'm living for is when they're 21, 22, 23 years old, they're yo, Dad, did you watch the fights? Did you see the game? Okay, that's got to be built off of not just respect, but love and friendship. Yeah. And so for me, if I can end at the place of influence, then I have a seat in their life forever. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Dude, that's good.
So
it'll be easy to influence them because at 20 they'll still be living in our basement. I'll be taking care of them. I'm just kidding.
You don't want them to ever leave.
No, they'll never. They're just. I already got them Ryan's book, so
that will help. That will help. I got you. I got your back.
Read that at night. I pre-ordered it for them. I'm you're just gonna
grow
up to be
whole new target audience for you.
That is great.
Single today and tomorrow and the next day.
New children's book coming out from Ryan Wekenman, Single Forever. It's for all the moms and their sons.
I've listened to my wife rant about our son's future wives. I don't know if we're gonna like them.
So funny.
First of all, we have years before we're there. And second of all, certainly hope that you will, because I think kind of have to. We're gonna make that work.
Yeah. I was going to share a story, but I shouldn't, just in case they listen to this podcast. Anyways, I am crazier than your wife. Just know that.
Oh wow.
I'll go to prison.
Brit went to the school because of a crush already, and waited outside. And she's like, I'm gonna meet her. I'm like.
And Grayson went point her out, so I held my phone and I
lady?
recorded every girl that walked through the door. And I go, was it this one? Was it this one? Was it this one? And then when he showed me, the next time I went to the class, we just locked eyes. I just let her know.
What is your credit score?
Yeah, exactly.
She's 7, babe. She's 7. She's a daughter of the king.
Dunk on you, right?
Anyways, moms don't do that. Don't do that. Trust your children, I guess, as they grow older. I think my one piece of advice, if I could give to a young mom, is they were God's before they were yours. And so you can't protect them from everything. You just have to trust God through it. And with that, if you're not spiritually connected to Jesus, then you're not the best mom for them, because everything that you need to be a mom is instilled through God's Spirit and who He's made you to be. And so if you let that falter, then you're trying to do it out of your own self instead of like spiritually filled up. So all that to say, take care of yourself. Like, it's okay to be selfish a little bit as a mom and go, okay, like I haven't washed my hair in 10 days. Let's next time maybe 3 days. Like everything that you have and who you are wired to be is exactly who that child needs. And also realizing you can't always do it on your own. It's okay to ask for help. You're not failing. And if your house is dirty and it's not picture perfect, that's okay. My 10-year-old actually humbled me. And he goes, hey, Mom, you told us to go play with our toys, but every time we play with them, you walk around and you pick them up. And he goes, you just want a clean house, but you're not sitting down and playing with us and making memories. And I was like, straight to the heart. Cool, dude. So I thought, you know what? My children are not going to remember how clean I kept the house or the food that I cooked. They don't even eat it. They don't like it. They want chicken nuggets. But they will remember the times that I stopped and sat down on the floor with them and played with Power Rangers or tried to learn how to play the Xbox, which makes me nauseous, but it's fine. And spent intentional time with them and listened to them, as opposed to just trying to feel like I was Superwoman, like trying to get everything done and make everything look picture perfect. Just be present with my kids.
That's good.
You know what Brit does practically really well too, though? Every morning on the way to school, she listens to her daily Bible reading with the boys in the car because she does the drop off. And so when she drops off, she listens to her daily Bible reading, talks to the boys about it on the way, and then she plays worship music.
Wow.
And that's every single day. So what I love is our boys right now get more time and scripture outside of the weekend than they do inside of the weekend.
Wow. That's great.
That's awesome.
Do you have to censor some of the Old Testament stuff?
Oh,
Like,
dude.
Oh, no,
They do have
skip,
questions. They do have questions.
Our 7-year-old, our 7-year-old the other day, he goes, how many wives was that, Mom? And I go, and he goes, I can't wait to have so many wives. And I go, yeah, no, bro, that's not like
Solomon had it going, man.
What a gig.
And Solomon was the wisest man? Okay.
Okay.
700.
And then I think I have one other thing that is both beneficial for moms and dads. As your children get older and they open up to you about things, always respond, don't react. So that way they continue to talk to you about things, because the world is crazy and they're going to have lots of questions.
What
and
you're
Mom,
shocked at over 7 or 12 or 15 is teaching them what they have to censor later in life. Like that's what
that's
we're
good.
We're like, all right, oh yeah, that okay. Tell me more about that. So we have to have a poker face. If your kid comes home and is like, for instance, we have a 10-year-old. Porn is already a reality for that age group. So we're doing everything we can to protect, and we're doing everything we can to teach and coach. What we also have to be ready for is the day he sees it and says something that we don't get shocked.
Yeah.
We go, oh yeah, how did that make you feel? How did that make you feel after you saw that? Let's process that together. You think that's something healthy for you moving forward? Like, that's how we want to be able to navigate, because 15, 17, 20 is a whole different,
And you got to pre-decide that, because you get one opportunity to have a first response to it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and even what your face looks like as they're telling you.
which is why I tell James I need Botox.
No, she says, James, you need Botox. You look 55. Yeah.
Oh, no, you don't. You look great, man.
You really,
Thanks
you
so
really
much.
look
No,
good.
yeah,
You
I
really
agree.
do.
You look good.
Come on, here we go.
Just
Encouragement hour.
strong.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Beard's looking good.
Yeah, it
You're doing
does,
great, man.
Thanks for the beard I'm working on.
It looks good.
It looks great.
I like it. Well, so you guys, my last question is, will you guys just move in with us and just help us with
We're here.
marriage and
We're
our
here.
kids?
It's an
You
announcement
just-
right here. We're in.
just
We're
live at
moving
my
in with the
house?
Matotas.
Yes.
That's the clip. Okay, right there.
Number 3.
The
Guys,
Red
that
Rock
was
Austin compound.
phenomenal.
Yeah, thank
that
you
was
guys
so
so
cool.
much
Yeah.
for your wisdom and just who you are.
Yeah.
We look up to you.
I'm gonna go
both.
watch this one back.
We stink and love you guys.
Yeah.
We were talking about it again yesterday. There's something so unique about you guys. Just you're very Jesus-y people. I'm convinced that if I met you anywhere else on the planet and it's not in a church, I go, oh, dude, they seem like Jesus people. And I think it's so unique. It's sad that it's unique in our culture today that pastors are that way. But I mean, hands down, you three have the smallest egos of anybody that I know. And you're humble, you're kind. I feel like you're always looking out for other people. yeah, so we're thankful for you guys. We're thankful for what you do. Every time we're here, it's crazy because people are like, thanks for coming. We're like, dude, are you kidding? We can't wait to get back here. Our soul is always refreshed. We always feel more encouraged, more excited about what God's called and created us to do. So thanks for being who you guys are. Yeah.
Love
y'all.
you, bro.
Thanks, bro.
We love you guys. Thanks for coming on here. We'll
Come
have you
anytime.
back next time whenever
Yes.
you're back around.
Yes.
Please. Next week.
Brit,
Yes.
brace yourself. Now that there will be an episode that you are on the Afterthoughts podcast, your life will never be the same.
Right.
I'm
So
excited.
you need to prepare.
Yeah.
Enjoy the last few moments of anonymity.
Yeah, when you are taking the kids to school and the paparazzi is there, be kind.
Yeah.
Pre-decide
Okay.
Yeah.
that you're not going to react and hit
you get
somebody
one
with your Cajun fire.
Need that hammer.
Oh yeah, we need the like button. Also, just want to encourage everyone to keep
Thanks,
Doug's
Kayla.
wrist in your prayers.
right there.
He's going through a lot right now.
Oh, dude, are you okay?
He's just,
Should we wait?
Okay.
Wait.
It looks really
Take
cool,
that
though,
brace
Doug.
off and flex that hand right now. Flex that hand.
The first healing live on a podcast.
Will you guys pray for my wrist to close this thing out?
God hears all our prayers, but there are just more important ones, so we're gonna skip that.
Take
Share
off
this
your
with
brace
your
and
friends.
walk.
This is a great conversation for friends about relationships.
38
about
years.
having
He's
kids.
had that on.
Share this. Subscribe to our
years.
YouTube channel. Smash
it.
Smash that like button.
on.
Come on.
And we've got a really cool episode coming next week. I'm not going to give away who's on it, but we have some special guests.
Yeah.
And all I'll tell you
For
about them
real?
is they are
Holy cow.
champions. We'll
Yes.
see you next time.
Yes.